It was a chilly night in November 2022, in the small college town of Moscow, Idaho. Everything looked peaceful. Students were out enjoying their weekend, lights were glowing inside homes, and the air was filled with calm. But no one had any idea that just a few hours later, the town would wake up to one of the most horrifying and shocking murder cases in recent history. In a 3-story house at 1122 King Road lived 5 University of Idaho students. They were like any normal group of college friends, laughing, studying, partying, living their best lives. The main residents were Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, Shanna Kernodle, and Xana's boyfriend, Ethan. 2 more roommates lived on the first floor, Bethany and Dylan. This house was full of life, music, and friendship. But all of that was about to change. On the night of November 12th, the friends had gone out. Kaylee and Maddie went downtown to a popular bar called the Corner Club. Shayna and Ethan were at a frat party. Everyone returned home before 2 a.m. Kaylee and Maddie were upstairs on the 3rd floor. Shayna and Ethan were on the 2nd floor. Dylan and Bethany were in their rooms downstairs. By 4 a.m., all the lights were off. Everyone was asleep, or so they thought. At around that time, someone quietly entered the house. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken glass, no screaming, but the killer knew exactly where to go. First, he went upstairs to the 3rd floor and entered Kaylee and Maddie's room. They were both stabbed to death in their beds. Police believe the attack happened quickly and they may not have even woken up. Then, he walked down to Xana's room on the 2nd floor. But Jana wasn't asleep. She fought back. She had defensive wounds. So did Ethan, who was found in the hallway just outside her room. Both were brutally stabbed. What's chilling is that the 2 roommates on the 1st floor didn't hear anything, or if they did, they didn't understand what was happening. One of them, Dylan, later said she saw a man in black clothes and a mask walking through the hallway. She got scared, locked her door, and went back to sleep. It was NT until nearly noon the next day that someone called 911. The caller said there was someone unconscious in the house. But when police arrived, what they found was a bloodbath. 4 young lives had been taken in one of the most calculated and silent mass murders the town had ever seen. News spread fast. Parents rushed to take their kids home. The entire university shut down. People were terrified. Who would do something like this? Why? Was it random or planned? Investigators found one big clue inside the house. A leather knife sheath left behind near Maddie's bed. On it was a tiny sample of DNA. But it didn't match anyone in the system. Still, it was something to work with. Outside the house, police checked every camera around the area. That's when they noticed a white Hyundai Elantra driving past the house multiple times between 3:30 and 4:20 a.m. The same window when the murders happened. The car was circling again and again, like the driver was waiting for the perfect moment. Eventually, that white car led investigators to a man named Bryan Kohberger, a 28-year-old PhD student, studying criminology at Washington State University, just 10 miles away from the victims. He was known to be quiet and socially awkward. But what's even creepier is that he had a deep interest in serial killers and how crimes are committed. In fact, just months before the murders, Bryan had posted a survey online asking ex-criminals how they felt before, during, and after their crimes. He wanted to understand their minds, maybe because he was planning to become one of them. Police checked his phone records. He had been near the victim's house 12 times before the attack. And not during the day, always late at night. He was clearly stalking them, watching, waiting. With the DNA, the car footage, and phone data, police arrested Bryan Kohberger on December 30th at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. He had driven across the country with his dad after the murders. He was taken into custody and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. People were shocked. How could a criminal justice student do this? Someone who studied law, murder, and psychology, using it all to kill. In court, Bryan didn't speak. He stared ahead. Cold, emotionless, he let his lawyer speak for him. His face showed no regret, no fear. The case caused massive public attention. People were angry, scared, curious. Some called it the perfect crime. Until one small mistake, the DNA on the knife sheath, brought it all down. Meanwhile, the families of the victims were heartbroken. Kaylee's parents said their daughter was full of life and love. Maddie's family described her as joyful and loyal. Xana's parents remembered her bright smile. Ethan's mom said he was the most caring son anyone could ask for. Even after the arrest, the pain didn't end. The university decided to demolish the house at 1122 King Road. They didn't want it to become a tourist spot or a TikTok trend. They wanted peace. The house is gone now, but the memories of that night still haunt everyone who knew those students. Bryan Kohberger now sits in jail, waiting for trial. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. His lawyers say he's innocent, but the evidence is strong and the nation is watching. This case reminds us of something terrifying. The most dangerous people often look normal. They blend in, they study with you, live near you, smile at you, can be pure evil. So, what do you think? Was this a planned, cold-blooded murder from the start, or was it a crime of obsession that went too far? Let me know in the comments. And if you like true crime stories explained simply and clearly, subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell icon, because every crime tells a story, and some are too dark to ignore.